welcome back to New Gen ICU. It's a pleasure to meet you guys again, to have you guys in this channel. We missed you guys, and we finally back. And I know that it's been a while that we did some videos because we were kind of busy, but we are back. How you doing, Joyce?
I'm good.
Pleasure to see you again.
Yeah. I'm
It's
happy
been
to
a
be
while.
here. Happy to be here.
Sure. How you been so far?
I've been good, just really busy.
What
with
you been up
different
to?
things.
Can you share with us if it's not too personal?
Just a lot of we were first work, and then also with my church we're practicing for a concert that we have November 12th. So
Okay.
that's been taking up a lot of time. So it's just a lot of going back and forth.
Sure, you can invite people. You have the
Yeah.
ability to talk to a couple people here
Yeah.
so that they could actually.
If you guys are, free, if you want to come with us to our concert where it's a worship night, it's going to be at, let me get the address, 3200 Denton Highway, Haltom City, Texas, 76117. So that's the address. The concert is on November 12th. And yeah, you should come.
At what time?
5 p.m.
5 p.m. Do you guys have surprises or what? How is it gonna look like?
It's going to be people that just love to worship God and coming together to do that with the best effort that they put in as possible.
Sure.
So we're gonna be there's gonna be some solo acts. There's gonna be some group songs and stuff, but it's all going to be just coming and worshiping. We're gonna have that experience together.
That's great. I hope that I will have some time to pop up and to worship God with you guys.
Amen.
Yeah. So I don't know where we're gonna start. It's just a free mic. We're just gonna randomly pick up a subject or topic and just talk about it.
Right.
So I wanted to touch a trend, a topic that people talk about, in a manosphere, in this new thing, the red pill movement and stuff.
Yeah, red pill is crazy.
For real. What do you know about the red pill?
Yeah, it's like a movement of angry,
White men.
men. Why are you so angry?
Okay.
Yeah, that's just kind of
What makes you think that the red pills are angry?
Because I just feel like they don't have they're going off of their past experiences, their past hurts, and then they're basing their theories off of just that limited information, and then they want to make that yes, this is the code you should abide by, this is the truth.
Have you ever watched a video of a red pill train topic or whatever, TikTok?
The guys that you showed, I forgot their
Kevin
name.
Samuels.
No, not yeah. I've seen Kevin Samuels videos on TikTok here and there.
Who? Andrew Tate?
Yeah, no, not Andrew Tate. Those two guys.
Fresh and Fit.
Fresh and Fit.
Yeah.
I've seen, I think one or two of their videos when they had that controversy, where they were, I don't know, they had disrespected a rapper or something like that on their show.
Okay.
And so people were really mad, how dare you, And yeah, that's kind of how I got a hold of their channel and what they did. And they're just crazy.
How is it crazy? I mean, have you heard some of their talking points?
Yeah, one of the guys was saying that he doesn't date
single mom.
No, not single mom. They don't go for black women.
Okay.
Or something along those lines. And then they refer to black women.
Angry black women?
No, I don't think it was angry. It was very derogatory. It was just they it was a bad term. And so when they said that, I was okay, but yeah, they call them ghetto
Righteous 304s.
Ghetto something. They had a name that black women have, but then they made Shaquisha or something like that.
Oh, yeah. They have Tyrone for men and
yeah.
How's it? What the other name again? Tyrone, Pookie and Ray Ray. That's for the man.
Right.
And for the ladies, like, yeah, they like, they name everybody.
Yeah. And so I was just like, I don't know. I just feel like they're leading a lot of men astray, and they're causing a lot of men to just have anger towards women, when it's like, if men would like actually look within themselves, we would be able to fix a lot of stuff and move forward. Because I feel like a lot of what's going on in relationships is like, has to do with men not wanting to change, or men being like,
the men are changing. That's
why they're changing for the worse though.
No, they're not changing. They realize,
like, especially the men that are like watching these people.
No, we do. I mean, I also
You
also
consume
watch
the content.
Yeah, I consume
You're
the
a fan?
content. No. I'm a fan. Of course, I am a fan, because at this point, when you look at the laws, you look at the way, you know, the society is moving, and the way women react and you know, act, you know, on in the society, you know, somehow you have to question yourself, you know, self examination or something, to just realize what your perspectives are, right? It's like, okay, I'm Glor, I'm trying to get done. I mean, I'm trying to finish this school, get to work. What is the next step? Is to get married. But who are there to marry, right? The majority of women are not really marriage material, because they are going towards, or they are more interested in things that doesn't even help them to find a suitable guy. So when I reach a point where I'm like, okay, I can't find nobody to marry, then I will either look elsewhere, or build up a certain strength in my head to, you know, to move forward with life, because it's something that is a challenge in front of me that I have to overcome, right? And then if I can't, I will have to find a way to get around it, because it's a serious thing. Because men, once they get once they get in a certain level with money wise and things like that, they're trying to find stability and security somehow. You know, they have security with the money, but somehow you have to get ready for the next generation,
You know
the legacy.
Do you think men need women more than women need men?
I think
Like, in terms
the question is as a Christian, or as a human being.
Like, do you think that, especially nowadays where like women can work, they can get whatever, do you think men like depend more on women for like to be able to survive and like do well in society, more than, let's say, women would depend on men to like?
I think women depends on men more than men depends on women. True, because when you look at the society, men build the society and we run the society. Even if, you know, you hear the song, you know, who runs the world, you know, girls, you know, that's just a song. But when you look at it in a realistic way, you will notice.
I don't think that's just a song though, because I think women are like the.
But if you run the world, then you shouldn't be complaining about equal pay, equal this. You run the world.
I think women are the foundation.
Foundation of what?
Of like, not the foundation
of society.
No, not the foundation, but like the backbone.
Yeah, but
I think women are like a very strong, like, backbone to society, to make sure that everything runs correctly. They're like the electricity. Correctly?
No, like how? Like, where is the most important institution or things that runs the world is run by women? Like, give me an example. Like what?
Okay.
The army is by men. The Pyro Grill is by men. Run by men. Ran by men.
Yeah, ran.
The politics. You know, where exactly the women are leading,
I think,
to run the world.
I didn't say I don't know. It's not. I think women. Women are like the.
When you say the backbones, that means if without women, the human race would disappear.
Absolutely.
But
I believe that 1,000%. Without women.
You know, I would say this then we only need women for reproduction. We only need women for reproduction than anything else. Only for reproduction. Not for survival. If we talk about survival, no, for real. Like, if we talk about survival, where do you see a woman protecting a man?
by survival, do you also include cooking and
No,
cleaning
yeah,
and making sure everything is orderly? You also
the best cook are men.
Who told you that?
Look it up on the internet. The best cook on earth are men.
Absolutely not.
Well,
Because
look it up.
no.
The best of the best.
No, you know why? You know why people literally go and like get recipes and stuff from their grandmothers? It's because women cook.
No, I mean you guys cook, but at the same time, you see, this is so confusing. You're gonna say that one of your biggest assets or biggest thing that you bring on the table is cooking, but the majority of you guys don't know how to cook. Majority? So you're useless. Yeah, like in the U.S., watch YouTube and see how much people are complaining that women don't know how to cook. And even if they know how to cook, they don't want to cook. So it's like, you guys, the biggest asset, the most important thing that you have to offer. It's not the most important thing. Listen.
Cooking is not the most important thing a woman has to offer.
Okay, that's what you said. I told you, how do you make yourself important in a society where the man runs everything?
Because you brought it back to like primitive kind of like society where like the men are the
primitive until today. Like
until today.
That's what I'm asking. Tell me today, where is the society that is run by women that protects the men? Tell me.
Well, first of all, that's not the job of a woman. Is not to protect a man.
Exactly.
Or protect anything.
Survival is out of the question because no woman can protect a man.
Okay.
Against another man.
Okay. That's okay.
No, I mean, if it makes sense.
Like I'm saying that women are the backbone, and you're saying that men protect. They do all this stuff. Like you can't live if a man. Literally, women. And then you said that if there was no need for reproduction, that women were not needed.
Yeah.
That's not true.
How is it? You tell me then. How is not true?
Because without, like I was saying,
without the woman, the man would die.
Without the woman, the man would not have.
You know, without the man, the woman would die.
No.
How do you gonna run the infrastructure?
No, a woman would not die without a man. Are you serious?
That's what I'm saying. No, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There are civilizations. There are civilizations in like Africa and I think there was like a village in Africa where it's run by women, and the women are the leaders. They're doing everything, and they're fine.
Where?
You know what shows? You know what shows me that women,
where are they?
It's somewhere. I have to find it again, but I saw a story.
What? The women kings?
No. It was like it's like a society in like some place in Africa where the women are running it, and they're doing it well. They're running the village. They're the ones that are, giving the laws. They're the ones that are making sure everything goes.
That's what I'm saying.
According to plan.
Yeah, it could be. You could be true, right? Where you have a society run by women, but when you look at the actual reality is that there's no society that was ran by women that still exists today, because you can't protect a woman against a man.
Literally,
you can't protect anything against a man.
But why do we always have to protect something against something? Like, I'm talking about aside from like just everyday life. Let's say you are just living life, because I feel like the way you're thinking about it, you're going back to like before the civilization, before.
No,
I'm
because
like,
we are privileged. We are privileged today to think otherwise because of the society, the way everything is is smooth now. We don't have no wars except in Europe and stuff, but we have this ability to think like this because we're in a civil society.
Literally, though?
If there's just one war right now, what I'm saying is gonna be 100% true, because
that's not true, because women are in the army. There's so many women in the U.S. Army. Women are actually like very.
Do you know how much? No problem. But do you know how much the U.S. look weak outside when you have a lot of women in your?
But the U.S. doesn't look weak.
And do you
Matter
know
of fact,
how much,
the U.S. is one of the most powerful armies in the world.
That's what you think.
Who's beating the U.S.?
That's what you think.
Who's beating the U.S.?
Nobody's beating the U.S. But in
terms of manpower, in terms of strategy, in terms of training, men, women, everybody's doing the same thing.
Listen to this. When you look at it, the majority of women doesn't want to be drafted.
Okay,
they want to take the training,
but a lot of women do get on.
They want to check. Yeah, sure. They want to take the training. They want to take the benefit. But when it comes to the war, They don't want to get to the war. They don't
Who
want to
told
go
you
to
that? There are women
the
that
Look
have
at
gone.
it. Everybody's talking about it, actually.
There are women that have gone to actual war. They've been to Iraq. They've been to war.
If you look at the
In the
numbers,
US
is
Army.
the
Course, 'cause
minority.
there are more men. There are more men in the U.S. Army than there are women. But women are doing it.
No, they're doing
And I feel like you know what, women are doing what men used to say women couldn't do, but men cannot do what women have been doing.
What?
Like, women's job from since the beginning of the earth, take care of the kids. You know, make sure everything is in order. You know, make sure you cater to your husband, and you know, make sure like you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're taking care of everything.
Do you think a man can't do that?
No.
Why not?
Because they're not doing it now. Women are working. Women are going to the army. Women are doing all these things, but men are not doing the same.
So you're telling me building up a skyscraper and building up infrastructure is much more easier than taking care of a kid?
What do you mean?
Like, you're telling me right now that men are incapable or are not able or not doing what women can do, which is taking care of the family.
Taking care of the family, being nurturing, being all that.
That's your nature, actually. But my question is this. Are you telling me that building up the infrastructure, building up the roads, building up the skyscraper, building up this world, because men run the world because they built it, right? And then you're telling me that's much more easier than raising a family or protecting a kid or nurturing? Which one is harder?
Which one's harder?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, not every man builds infrastructure. That's one. Okay,
Not
a lot of men don't do that. But every woman has nurtured. But every woman has nurtured. But because you're giving me examples that are totally out of left field. Because you have to go through school. You have to become an engineer. You have to do all these things to be able to do those things.
That's what I'm saying.
And women do those things.
No.
Women go to school. Women do those things. There are women that are architects, that are engineers. They do that.
I totally agree with you. But what I'm saying is, you know, the man runs the world because they built it. So my question was,
and because they didn't allow women to be a part of the building process.
No. It's been like 70 years that women have been free
they
to do
did
whatever
not
they
they
want.
Did not allow. And now guess what? Women are doing it.
Yeah, but you know what they're doing?
What?
Or the comfortable jobs. They don't want to be in a uncomfortable job and the risky jobs. You know what? Because they don't want to do it. And they don't like to do it. And I can even go a little further, telling you that they are not capable of doing it.
What
because
are the uncomfortable jobs? Give me examples.
You need physical strength. What
are the uncomfortable jobs?
Let's say, I will give you one example for just to help you out. The oil industry, not the selling the oil in the office, the mining part. Where you have to go into the ocean, you know, doing that hard labor and then getting the oil out. That's where we don't see anyone because it's really risky. And you can there's a experiment that, you know, one of those YouTubers did, and he was asking a bunch of women or a bunch of guys. They were like, the question was, would you take $100,000, you know, working in Alaska, for example, doing the hard labor or whatever, or would you take $30,000 working in an office here in whatever city you are?
I'm gonna take the $30K. And
exactly.
And guess what though? And I'm sure a lot of men will do the same thing.
No,
a lot of men are not gonna do that.
No.
A lot of men are not gonna do that.
But
You're
you didn't watch.
Like
No. You didn't watch the video. I watched it, and then the guess what the result was? The majority of men picked the $100,000. And the woman was like, I would take 30,000 as long as I'm comfortable.
I'm taking the 30K.
Exactly. You just proved my point.
Because nobody's going to go to... First of all, what's in Alaska? I'm not going to do that.
See, exactly. Just like you said, nothing is in Alaska. That's what you're going to say the same thing. Nothing is in the ocean. Nothing is in the underground. Nothing is here.
If I have a love for that, I'm gonna work towards it. Just like
exactly, you like you revealing your own nature, a choice, and you are going and you choosing things according to your nature. Just for example, you're nurturing, right? That's your biggest asset. You this and that. Guess what? The majority of women go to are interested in people, but the men are interested in things. That's why you are nurturing, and you have the majority of women doing the nurture, like the nursing and all the field that takes care of people, right? But the men are where the things are, right? The the tools and stuff, the risky job, the high, so that's where we not separate, but that's where the nature sort itself, right, to to put things in their category without even us noticing it as a human. You know what I mean? So the men have been running or building the world since whatever date, right? Since the beginning of the world. And we don't see it as, something that is, that we have to put on the table to say, well, we did this and you guys didn't do anything. No, we value what you guys giving, but nowadays you guys don't even realize what you were so important to us, right? We were doing all of this for you guys, but now you're like, oh no, we don't want it. We don't want to. We want to do it ourselves. We're like, oh, since you guys want to do it yourselves, and you are dismissing everything that we have been doing all this time. Well, have your way. You know what I mean? And that's where the problem is, where we are having this conversation with a lot of, fighting, because when we look at it in a deeper sense, we will find out that, hey, we are better together than against each other, right? We are better together, right? We work together. We build up a family. We build up society. One of the biggest asset for a country is the family.
Absolutely.
And the family meaning we have a dad and a mom. Well, you guys have your other way. It's your own problem. But for us, Christian and stuff, yeah, we go with the dad and the mom and the kids. So everybody in that spectrum have their importance, right? And then none of them is more than the other, because we're all equal in front of God, But equality doesn't mean that we ought to do the same thing, because even your nature is not my nature. I'm a man, you're a woman, right? I'm supposed to do certain things because of my nature. You're also supposed to do certain things according to your nature. But when we flip it, we're trying to change it. That's where the problem. Guess what?
Is it that we're flipping it, or that women are just opening their opportunities?
What? Do you know what?
To
one
different
question I also
things.
ask myself: what the men are not interested in what the woman does?
Because it doesn't bring money. You guys don't care. If it doesn't bring you money, you don't care. Women want to be able to have a certain level of independence, because back in the day when they didn't have that type of independence, financial independence, men would take advantage of them. And so they would have to be stuck in situations where they would want to leave, but they can't, because if I leave, I have 4 kids by this man. He's the only one working. He's the only one doing all this. How am I going to do it? But he's abusing you. He's beating you. You can't leave. So now women are like, no. I'm going to take my own life into my own hands. I won't depend on a man who's fickle. He's going to love me one day and then cheat on me the next, beat me one day and then curse me out the next.
But then don't get married. Because marriage, exactly. Because marriage gonna bond you guys, whatever. Because we having this conversation.
So don't get married because you don't want to be
That's
to be maltreated.
No.
So is marriage synonymous to abuse?
No. According to you guys.
No, that's not true. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the women have become independent, so that in case something goes wrong, they got their own backs
exactly
to fall back on,
right?
But they're going to also walk in a way that they can be able to find a man that's suitable for them, that can take care of them, that can be good to them. And then once they find that kind of man, then it's all fine and dandy. But a lot of men are like, they put up a front for the first year, 2 years, you get married, everything's good, and then afterwards they switch up. And women are like, okay, if you're gonna switch up, I'm gonna dip.
I see what you mean, but at the same time, you have to understand that, the sacredness of marriage is not the same, Yeah, because if it's just you did this, one thing also, once you have a backup plan, you always have a second thoughts. should I fight for this or I get my backup plan or my plan B? I'm telling you.
Sometimes the backup plan be looking good.
Exactly. So then you would take take the backup plan without knowing that it's not gonna work because you think there's something better out there for you, right? And then you don't fight for your love or whatever. You don't fight for your marriage. You don't self-reflect or you self-accountability into that marriage so that you can fix whatever you can on your hand. And then if you're a Christian, it's even worse. You have to look at it in a way that you have to leave it to God and then do what you're supposed to do as a wife and respect what the Bible says and just go with what the Bible said. Because you had your whole life to pick up this man and you picked this man up, right? You chose this man and you brought him in front of your family and your God. Right. If you have a little respect for that guy, the God and the family, then you would at least fight for it and then not expose you, because it's like you go into a store and they told you can pick whatever you want. Like let's say you go to Marshall, for example, and you're like, oh, we got you on the money side. Just pick one thing in everything that you see here. You pick one thing and you go to the cashier. They pay for you. You go out with it.
Right.
You actually you don't have to test it into the store. You have to test it outside. That means when you get it out the store, that means you're married. You can't bring it back, right? And then guess what? You had all the time, all the resources on your hand, right, to pick the perfect match for you. Not the perfect in a sense, but once you do that,
but you know what? People change.
No, it's not like people change. You know, people don't change exactly. They just reveal who they are. Your work should be to find a best way to get him out of his nature, like to get him out of his facade. You have to develop a certain, I'm not gonna say on dit ça malice, on malice, right? Where you asking the right question to get the right information. Once you have that, don't be covered or blind by love and kisses and this and that or beauty. You have to see it as it is. And if you have to make a decision, if you see things that you don't like, red flags, just leave or do whatever you can so that you won't regret later on.
You're more for women making the decision before marriage, and once you're into marriage, it's kind of like
it's gone. Even for men, I'm not just for women, but for men too. Like you had the time, you had the resources, you had the power to decide. Because God, sometimes we put it on God. Oh God, this is not a person. No. God gave you the resources and everything that you needed for you to pick the right match for you. It's not going to tell you this is the person, but it's going to put people around you so that you can pick on your own, right? So then whenever it's going to go wrong, you're not going to say, oh, God, this is
the wife that
you gave me. Exactly, just like Adam, you know what I mean? So once you look at it that way, you will realize like, hey, I have the time. I will have to make sure that the person that but you have the time, but you don't have time because you have to balance things properly so that you won't waste too much time picking up, being too picky, and you're not looking at the clock. And then, the options are, getting lower and lower. And then later on, you will find yourself alone. A man has, like a woman, like it's both sides. To make a choice in a really, in a timely matter of fashion so that you will also have the time to enjoy the thing, right? But the responsibility is 100% on our hands. You know what I mean? So then my perspective on marriage is really like once you get in there, find a way to work it out. Find a way, especially when there's kids involved and, and there's family. It's even God involved because that's where we miss. Where everybody is involved except God. But when you put God in there, it's not the same situation anymore.
I think people, men and women, have to work on like doing the vetting in the like before marriage process, like fiancé, dating, do that then, and then afterwards, if you decide to move on, you go your separate ways. If you decide to get married, You
Yeah,
know
yeah,
how to
yeah.
do
Get
that.
married. But once you get married, think twice before you end the relationship because
Yeah, because
you
marriage
know,
is
yeah, it's secret.
sacred. Yeah,
Yeah, it's secret. It's so sacred to the point where
but
the first thing God, I don't know if it was a marriage or something, but the first commandment that God gave to Adam and Eve was, to populate the world.
hmm
So it should, is it, you know what I mean? It's kind of a marriage, right? Because you can't do it outside. So they had to do it inside. So by that time, I think something that happens. There's something that happens there where God, agreed or allowed this to happen and have the future generation started.
I think God is absolutely a genius. I
Yeah,
don't even think
absolutely.
genius is enough because
No,
he's literally structured it so that everything has its purpose, everything has its need, but it's like we mess it up, and
yeah,
then
we
we're
always
we're
mess
putting
it up.
ourselves in a lot of a bigger mess by not obeying.
But
Like
then,
it's
because we always think that we're
literally so
smarter than
easy.
God. We're smarter
Right.
than Him. We can do better. We don't need Him. We got everything figured out. With the technology, with the social media, with the amount of information that we consume every day, you might think that, hey, I don't even need a teacher. I'm telling you, I don't need a teacher. I don't need a advice from anybody. I can get it from myself on my own, just accessing through my phone.
Right.
So then when you reach that level and you will take a little further to the point where like I don't need God. I have Google. You know what I mean? So it's really sad to see that sometimes we just put God out of our conversation and we find ourselves in trouble.